Welcome to Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. Today we've got one to really get your thinking. We're expanding on systems thinking and bringing in a concept called decision mapping. So we talked about 4 types of thinking a few days ago, why each are important. Systems thinking is really common, popular in a number of fields, whether it's auto manufacturing, food processing, or a dental office. We create systems. There are people that have a specific expertise in just helping you to create a system for your dental office or your business, your workflow, etc. Decision mapping is something a bit more unique. So we're going to try to bring system thinking and decision mapping together and demonstrate why both are really critical to having a foundation of excellence and growth and communication, whether it's in a dental practice or a small business or a large business. So if you've ever made a decision, this talk is for you. I hope you'll listen in, think through it, and then if you disagree, comment why. If you agree, let me know. Love to hear your thoughts. Let's get into it. Systems thinking is looking at the interconnectedness, how each little element in a system or a process interacts over time. By digging into the system, you look at feedback loops, you're looking for unintended consequences of an action, and leverage points where you can take advantage of a process or a procedure to speed up the flow. It's often used in complex adaptive systems where cause and effect are not immediately obvious, and it encourages us to zoom out to understand the broader context of something before making a decision. Here, let's look at the process of patient flow through an office, from when they first call to when they arrive, they get welcomed, they get brought back into an operatory, and they have discussions. The team has to set up that room. They have to communicate with the front. And then the patient has to be brought through the office in a certain way. And then whenever they leave, the procedure is finished, they are handed off at the front desk. And then the team in the back still has stuff they have to do. So they're a separate system to clean up that room, bring it to sterilization, a separate system there. The front desk has a system that they are working through with that patient to finish up the procedure, reschedule, that kind of thing. So along the way, all these little decision points have impacts on what comes next. And so we're trying to create operational efficiencies to the process, some involving other humans, which is partly why then decision mapping is so important. Because oftentimes systems creation doesn't necessarily take into account how complex human interactions are and how decision making can oftentimes go beyond following directions on a piece of paper. So decision mapping is breaking down each decision. Oftentimes this is done as an after action report, but can also be done when planning. So we're looking at each decision that's possible along the way of, for example, the system that we just talked about. We can then create a visual framework to look at what were the questions that required a decision at each step in the process. Which of those can be automated or created to say this is done this way all the time? For example, sterilization is an easy one. But when we're talking about humans, then we have other decisions we have to make. And decision mapping looks at each of the questions involved or what questions may come up from that specific patient. If we run into a problem or the patient makes a specific request that isn't in our systems sheet, well, now we can think through our decision mapping. What decision do I need to make that's going to be the best for this patient, for me, for the practice, for my team? And that allows us to then fall back on other important things in the practice, like core values and vision, as filters for some of those decisions. To try to clean that up a little bit, systems thinking explores the environment as a whole and looks at the various systems that are in place and how they interact. while decision mapping is clarifying the path forward where each decision point is and where there may be branches that require us to rely on things besides whatever system we create. Why do you need both? Because just systems thinking alone can lead to analysis by paralysis, seeing all the moving parts and struggling to take decisive action. It also doesn't take into account that human interactions are complex adaptive systems that can't always have a script. Decision mapping alone can often be short-sighted because it doesn't account for the linking of these various pieces in a full outcome. It's looking at specific decisions along the way. And when combined together, we get a holistic problem-solving framework to understand each decision along the way and the broader impacts on the system as a whole. So now, how do we do this? Let's walk through creating your own system that involves both systems thinking and decision mapping. So first, define the problem. What are you trying to do? Identify the core issue, and now map out each piece of the puzzle, the different links in the chain. Now look at how the parts interact, including what external influences are impacting it. So for example, if patient cancellations are high, consider how appointment scheduling, reminders, patient incentives, and communication systems all interact. Step 2, identify key decision points. So list specific points in that map you just created where decisions have to be made. Some of those decisions will be easy to say, when this happens, we do this in our office. Other ones are going to require thinking. Okay, if that happens, I'm going to have to think through what are my options. Step 3, develop a decision map. For each decision, map out the available options, do some scenario thinking about potential outcomes, look at the risks and benefits of each along the way. All right, step 4, cross-check these decision mapping events with the systems thinking structure you've created. Assess it, test it, do a walkthrough, have a team member act as a patient, have the other team members play their role, and walk through the system. Look through at each decision point along the way. Try to invoke some of those scenarios that you may have created to see how the team reacts to those. And then you can iterate various options around that to see how different scenarios play out. And then once you try it out, monitor the real world effects, knowing that you probably don't have it perfect the first time. This is something that needs to be evaluated on an ongoing basis. Look at it weekly, monthly, or quarterly, or all three, depending upon the system and the size of the team and what it is you're trying to accomplish. Great decision making isn't just about logic or intuition. It's about combining big picture awareness with some structured clarity. Systems thinking helps you see the forest. Decision making helps you navigate the trees. So next time you're facing some tough choices, don't just think about what to do. Think about how that decision fits into the bigger system and what potential questions might come up. Then map it out and move forward with confidence, knowing that you also have your core values and your vision as filtering options. So, try it for yourself. Keep questioning, creating, and inspiring others. See you tomorrow.